I don't think we've ever had this much football to talk about in June ever before. Miami Hurricanes live here for a 161st time, courtesy the Wholesome One. There he is. Catch the Wholesome One right here on YouTube. Just look up Wholesome One Hollywood. You'll see it right here on the banner as soon as we pull it up. Join us for the next hour. We've got a lot to cover. And of course, we'll take your comments and your questions. And Wholesome One, I said that we've never had so much to talk about in June, but that has more to do with recruiting. But Paradise Camp is always a staple and has been in recent years, at least there at Miami. And that just took place last weekend.
Yes, it did. So, they came in Friday, but it basically was a Saturday event, and Sunday also had like matriculation kind of thing. So, yeah, man, what a great name. Number one, Friday Night Lights is really cool. I think some other places have some really nice names, but Paradise Camp, that's big time. I mean, it is paradise. It's the only thing besides it being beautiful and sunny every day is that it also rains from time to time, which is exactly what happened this past weekend. But thank God that we had an indoor practice facility because the camp would have had to stop because it just was pouring down raining, and they were able to take everything all inside and be able to finish the drill. So that was huge. We had a collection of talent. And what I mean by talent, I mean also hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of NFL alum and University of Miami alum who came back to support, and also some of the best talent in high school football from all over the country came here, and they had a really good time at the camp. And I'm excited to talk about it, and we'll go over some of the players who were there and some of the recruits that were there.
Yeah, so take it away from there in regards to who headlined, who caught the most eyes based on what you gather.
Okay, so we'll start off with who was there as far as the big time names of the NFL guys. So we had Michael Irvin. You cannot have a Miami camp and a Paradise camp without one of the best public speakers and one of the best passionate football speakers of all time. And that is Michael the Playmaker Irvin. You all remember him in the 3-point stance, rocking number 47 back in the day for the Miami Hurricanes, rocked 88 in the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys. And his love has always been with the University of Miami. Now, he's not a Dade born and bred. He's from Broward, but that doesn't matter. South Florida. And he has a really big love and passion for the wide receiver position, but even more the way that it's played and coached at the University of Miami. He wouldn't want to be an official coach, but you best believe he pulls up all the time just to come check and see what's going on at the U with our wide receivers. We also had former Defensive Player of the Year, Calais Campbell, who a lot of our people who love Miami was comparing Greg Rousseau, edge rusher who just went in to the 2021 NFL Draft, to Calais Campbell. You got to see both of them next to each other. Mark, it's whoa. There's a picture, right, of Calais Campbell, Greg Rousseau, and then Jalen Phillips in the middle of them. And Jalen Phillips posted on his IG, is like, yo, we're not taking pictures together no more. I can't be the little guy because he's a 6'4", 6'5". You got Greg, who's 6'6", 6'7". And you got Calais, who's a legit 6'8" dude. And you could tell because there was a noticeable 2-inch difference between him and Greg Rousseau, man. And it's just skyscrapers hanging out. That was a pretty funny caption. You had Antrell Roll from Miami Hurricanes corner, played in the NFL as a safety. Adrian James, of course, Jalen Phillips, John Beeson, Reggie Wayne, Joaquin Gonzalez, Kenny Phillips, David Njoku, Lamar Miller, Lamar Thomas, Najee Davenport, Brett Rumberg, Deion Bush, Alan Bailey, Dwayne Starks, Corn Elder, Sean Spence, DJ Dallas, KJ Osborne, Herb Waters, among others. So
I know all those guys. I haven't heard some of those names in a long time, but man, big time.
And it's a great thing. That's the beautiful part about this institution. I mean, there's other institutions that could do pretty well if they were able to have a camp too. I mean, some of these elite programs, when they have camps and they're able to have the players come back, I don't know if the players coach them up, but that's what the beautiful part about the Paradise Camp and the idea from Coach Mark Richt is. I want to tie the past and even some of the recent past with the current and the future to be able to mesh it together, and let's coach up. So, of course, Ram Bergen and Joaquin Gonzalez is working with the offensive line. Calais Campbell, Jalen Phillips, Greg Rousseau are working with the defensive line. Sean Spence and John Beeson are working with linebackers. Corn Elder is working with the corners. Deion Bush is working with the safety. So, and so on and so on. And basically, the position that you played, you coach it up at the camp. And the great part about it is some of these young men grew up really idolizing them as far as the older guys. And some of them are not even too far away from each other in age to where they were like, yeah, man, I remember when you made that interception versus Tallahassee. I remember you had the pick six versus Virginia in 2017. And I know that had to be a great experience for some of the newer NFL guys at the University of Miami, but also some of the older guys to still feel a little young at heart, man. You know, hey, the young jits still know who I am. So that means that you're relevant and you made a big impact. So that was a lot of the NFL alum. And like I said, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars made in the NFL, whole bunch of tackles and interceptions and touchdown receptions. But it's always a great opportunity when you can bring back that old and bring it in with the new and have them mesh together at the U.
Good stuff coming your way each and every week. Every time we get together with a Wholesome One, join him on his YouTube channel right there, Wholesome One Holloway, for Miami football breakdowns and looking position by position at returning starters. Where do we stand on that series?
Oh, man, we're in the middle of going through our highlight tapes mixed with our Canes updates, which is what I do my position by position. The only ones that are left is quarterback, offensive line, striker, and cornerback. I've gotten everyone else done. So, you know, we're creeping up closer and closer to training camp and closer to commitment date, which we're about to get into right now, discussing some of the recruits that were at Paradise Camp and some of the ones that made a lot of big noise and look real good in the orange and green T-shirt, and also went on to put our uniform on and take some pictures and have the U up, not the U down. But I think it's going to be real good. But as far as what's been going on the channel, it's been a lot of great traffic coming through, showing and spotlighting a lot of the greatness that happened for our players last year with the highlight tapes, and that's always a great experience. And I always say, hey, put it out there. If you're doing a breakdown or whatever, you want to see greatness of a player, swing on over to the H1H channel, and you'll have some nice highlight tapes from a lot of our returning starters, all except for offensive linemen. But every single returning starter will have a highlight tape.
Appreciate all the comments coming in, people pumping us up with positive vibes. So we appreciate that every time. I can't read them all, of course, but I do read them. I may not read them out loud, but keep in mind that the Wholesome One and I read all the comments, and we survey the chat, especially I do, since I'm the one that's got less of the analytical load to haul here. The Wholesome One does the heavy lifting, but believe me, I read all the comments, and we are certainly appreciative of all the support. So even if we can't, obviously comment back to every comment, this is just one, for example, 3 kids and a dad being blessed with some Canes talk on a Monday. Thanks, Mark and Wholesome One, #Live Squad. So for everybody else that left those kind of comments, we always appreciate that. Want to let everyone know that hit the like button, subscribe to the Wholesome One's channel, check off the boxes, share the links out on social media. So you can grab this link, share it on social media. People can find us just by going to the front page of the Miami channel, and anytime we're doing a live stream, it's going to be posted right there and running. So please share the link. Just let people know that we're here. And Lewis had made a comment in the live chat that he did not get a notification today. We can't necessarily control that. I send those out. They should go out a number of ways. So I post on the main channel all the live streams that I'm going to do that day with a link to that channel. I also post on this Miami channel that there's a notification of a live stream, for example, today at 1. And then I get on Twitter like 2 or 3 hours before, and I post there, and then I post when we're going live. So there's a number of posts out there, even if YouTube kind of lets us down and doesn't get the notification out there. All right, Wholesome One. Yeah, it does. I don't know how to correct that because I'm not the only one. I've got all sorts of other YouTubers who've told me that the notifications are spotty. So we've got the NFL side of Paradise Camp, and then we've got those guys that are still trying to figure out their way and still trying to make an impression that are coming to camp to do just that.
Absolutely. And before I go on that, I listened to Coach Manny Diaz's interview, his kind of a presser, I guess, right after Paradise Camp. And he really just explained the fact that a lot of people have their kind of split. Okay, there's a lot of split between the Miami Hurricanes fans on only having so few commits as of right now. I remember Mark being on here and trying to justify 1 or 2 commits. Now we only have, I think, four commits as of right now, right? But the biggest thing that, yes, you got to learn from your past. And we're also coming off of a pandemic. And in my opinion, I understand where Coach Diaz is coming from when he's saying, if you're looking, we're looking. And at the end of the day, if you're going to commit to us, then obviously that means that you're shutting it down. But until then, go on your visits, enjoy yourself, go take official, take unofficial. But when you say you're committed to the University of Miami, unless you're going with the team, I think that would be different. If your whole team is going on a trip through the states and things of that nature, then he can't control that and say, no, you stay home. No, he's not going to do that. But if you're out here taking official visits and taking videos and pictures in other people's uniforms and you're committed to Miami, are you really committed to Miami? It's just that simple. So if not, take your time and then commit to us once you know for a fact that this is what you want to do. I completely understand that viewpoint. Some of it I agree with, and some of it I guess I'm a little bit more understanding, but that's the reason why he's the head coach, and I'm here talking about it with 2 different levels as of right now. But you're continuously discussing about these young men, and that's how you change your programs. You start to infuse the program with a certain level of talent. We're going to go down a list. That's what I'm looking off to over here, guys. It's a whole list we had over 200 recruits, but I'll give you a nice top 20 of guys who came through and something about them. Okay, so we had 6'4" wide receiver Sean Wilson out of New York. Really impressed the coaches with his size, his length, his breakdown in his route running, and attacking the ball at his highest point. I mean, 6'4", 200 pounds already. We'll take that. We'll take that at the University of Miami right now. Okay, another player, 6'3", 330-pound Snoop Mama. He's a Polynesian brethren from his class of 2022, and he got a committable offer at the camp from how well he did. He was playing some guard, some center, and some tackle, and he really impressed our former players and our staff enough that we were able to give him an offer. Okay. He also had 6'3", 190-pound Jermaine Shack. Now he is class of 2023, so that's next year. But we're going after the size at wide receiver, and that's a great combination. You need that size and speed at today's level and how the game is being played right now. Fade route is a big part of our offense. And throwing a 50-50 ball to a 6'3", 6'4" guy, or throwing a 50-50 ball to a 5'10", 5'11" guy. I mean, it depends on the want to and the dog in the young man, because, I mean, a 5'7" guy could jump up and attack that ball if he really wants it. But the probability goes up a little higher when you got somebody that's a little closer to the fade route, a little closer to the ball. You got 6'4", 250-pound, 5-star linebacker David Hicks. He's next year also 2023 from Texas. Supposedly he was the best player on the football field. I'm going to say that again. 6'4", 250-pound linebacker. Sheesh. Good Lord. Mark, why I couldn't get 6 foot? Just give me 2 more? Let me be 6 foot, man.
What were Shaq Quarterman's measurements?
Oh, Shaq I think he was a legit 6-footer, but Shaq was like 250. This dude's 4 inches taller, and he's 250. All right, so here's the 2 names, and Segmon just said it, right? Yeah, you're right, D. So Hicks is playing some linebacker and some defense, and he's like a 34 guy. He was playing both of them, some middle linebacker. He also plays some edge in the one-on-ones. Thank you, D. I was gonna get to that, but hey, I appreciate you keeping you on my toes. I like it. The next two names is let me keep my personal comments, but we'll let it be. Earl Little Jr. Everyone knows about Earl Little Jr. Everyone understands that, hey, he's going to Alabama. It's just that simple. But you're not going to tell him no. His dad's an alum and a former football player for the University of Miami. And he's a big time recruit. You got to swing it. You got to swing your bat. Who knows? The pitcher is going to throw either a lob, a curve, a strike. Like, you're going to hit you right down the middle with a 98-mile fastball. You still got to swing. Instead of you just standing there and just striking out and walking to the bench instead of swinging, you might as well swing. At least you gave it a shot. That's the best thing you can do. And also up the ante on recruiting the young man. Yes, to us as fans, it's a lost battle. From what a lot of people are saying, it's been pretty negative in the relationship between us and Earl Little Jr. and Earl Little Sr. But at the end of the day, you have time to fix it. Okay, we live in a social media age. We live where I could be on the phone with Mark. I'm living in Fargo, North Dakota. He's in Ohio. Okay, pick up the phone, build better relationships, and start working on it right now. Yes, there's no reason in the world that this staff should not be scratching and clawing instead of just giving up and thinking that it is what it is. He's going to Alabama. I could think that, but I'm not directly able to make the change. What I can do is call people out on social media, and this is the best thing that I can do. It's just a less swing and give it a shot. What you take 30, 45 minutes out of your day every day to hit him up and just see how his day is doing and how we can work on getting this thing fixed to have him wear orange and green in the fall. Just that simple. I'll go on to the next one before I get too passionate about that one. Marvin Jones Jr. His dad is a big-time name at the end of the day. One of Tallahassee's best linebackers in the history of that school. And again, you got to swing. So I love the fact that these young men even decide to show up and be a part of our camp. One's a legacy here, and one's a legacy up there. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to bring them on and see if we can continue to build those relationships, Mark. I've been saying that R word for as long as I can remember, because that's what it's about. It's just that simple. If I can trust you with my son, if my son loves you, the position coach, I mean, he loves the school, at the end of the day, it'll really be up to him and his decision. Yes, his father went up there. Yes, his father played there. His father was even really, really good player. First round draft pick, played 11 years in the NFL. Okay, but at the end of the day, you as a Miami Hurricanes recruiters, you as a Miami Hurricanes staff, you have a chance to create your own legacies, create your own destinies. Go after it. Don't just allow it to, oh, well, you know where he's going because it's that one. Nope. BJ Jennings. Now, although BJ Jennings was a swing 3-star, 4-star, his father, Monster, played at Tallahassee, and BJ Jennings is on your active roster and started for you last year. Now, regardless of how you feel about BJ Jennings as a player, a lot of people felt like it was no reason to even recruit him because his dad went up there. But Coach Diaz and his staff said, no, we're going to swing our shot, and we won that recruiting battle. So at the end of the day, that's what we have to keep doing. Okay. Let's move along. So 6'1", 175-pound wide receiver Andy Jean from Miami Northwestern. He's also a rising junior class of 2023. You got the 6', 200-pound quarterback Colin Hurley. Now, this dude is a little further away, 2025, but built really good relationships with Coach Rhett Lashley and really showed up in the quarterback drills. Now, this name right here and this size is going to shock you, Mark. You ready? 6'7", 220 pounds, defensive end, Elijah Russell. That's what Mark. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what you got to bring in, because that frame and that ability, we could put all type of weight on that. Really bring him together and sculpt him up. I mean, similar to the 6'5" Gregory Rousseau, who signed at 204 pounds and left Miami at 260 pounds. So these are the type of young men you really want to bring in, especially with a defensive line coach like Coach Jess Simpson. It's a great combination to have that size. And then I ended out with 6'3", 300-pound defensive tackle, Sean Washington. He's from Louisiana, just decommitted not too long ago from LSU. Big time dude that showed up. So those are the top 10 players based on either this recruiting class or next recruiting class, even further, that really showed up and stood out. Now, a couple of names that were just there. Wesley Blasaint. I will get back to him in a second because I know it's real polarizing in the Miami Hurricanes fan base, which, Mark, you've probably seen. We'll get to him in a second. Shamar Stewart on campus for like the 13th time was there. Jalen Brown, Nathan Joseph, Brandon Enos, the big-time wide receiver for next year recruiting class. He's like a 5-star already, so got to watch out for him. Mark Fletcher, 5-star running back for next recruiting class. Also, Hakeem Williams, Ruben Bain, Antonio Robinson, and the list goes on and on and on. The players. So, all right. Let's get into Wesley Blasaint. Okay. Well, I'll give you a little pause, so then you can chop it right here and then cut over. So I'll let you go.
I appreciate that, Wholesome One. Wholesome One is very up on our production and editing. So for these segments, and also before we do that, just so we can further get down into the live chat, let's clean up on some of these super chats. We appreciate coming in. Big Show, thank you so much. Love the show. I'm hyped for the Miami-Bama game. I would love to see Miami in the ACC championship game. Go Tigers. So Clemson fan contributing. Thank you so much for that. Also wanted to pick up one coming in from CEO, hashtag Live Squad. Thank you, man. Appreciate your contribution as well. And we'll get to the comments coming in here in just a second after the Wholesome One continues the scouting reports here.
Absolutely. So, got to get into this. So Wesley Blasaint is a linebacker. Okay. Big-time prospect. One of the top 2 or 3 linebackers in the nation. And he's from Miami Central, right? Which is in Miami-Dade County, born and raised Miami-Dade County young man. He goes up on an official visit to Tallahassee. Okay. Now, while he's there, Mark, he's taking a picture and taking multiple pictures in their uniform, decked out in their gear. And this same dude who has asked multiple players before him to do it, they do it. They took a picture. Marvin Jones Jr. did it also, but we all understand because he's a legacy of that school. So he took a picture of throwing the U down. Okay. Now, a lot of the Miami Hurricanes fan base is very, very split on this one. It's kind of cooled off now because he turned around 24 hours later and came back home to Miami, did an interview about the situation and explained it a lot more, and was at the Paradise Camp, right? I mean, people started the hashtag, drop him, all type of weird stuff was coming up because they felt real disrespected by the fact that they threw the U down, okay, on a picture. Now, Mark, I'm not in the business of creating excuses for people, but I will explain to you from my viewpoint how I saw it before I explain to what happened. So Wesley Blasaint did not post this picture himself. Tallahassee's recruiting sites, anything, did not post that picture either. It was one of their 247 guys chasing for some clout who posted the picture because he knew that posting this picture, okay, was going to get the Miami Hurricanes fans real riled up. Okay, we are one of the younger fan bases, one of the very rowdy and energetic social media fan bases. So when you come with disrespect, we usually don't respond the best way. And I completely understand. I'm being very humble right now because I was very angry at it, but I understood because he's a 16, 17-year-old young man on a visit. You got a grown man next to him telling him what to do to take the picture. Just saying. And what was relieving about the situation is when you find out he didn't even really want to do it, but the coaches were telling him to, and so he just did. He didn't know if it was going to become public, which obviously if they're sitting there taking dozens and dozens of pictures, they're going to post one, or multiple. But at the end of the day, what I didn't get angry about and what I calmed down on was the fact that it wasn't like Wesley Basaint did. It was like, oh, I'm enjoying my official visit up in Tallahassee, and that's the one picture he posts is him throwing you down. He didn't even post from it. It was someone else who did that. So I can't tell other people how to feel about certain things. I mean, we live in a country where, I mean, freedom of speech is really exercised a lot. Whether right or wrong. And some people are ostracized for it, and some people just say whatever. You can have your opinion. But when it comes to this situation, we're dealing with a young man who was influenced to do something. He's our own. There's no need for us to respond and go at him for making a decision. He also says that he regrets it. When he interviewed, he talked about how he regrets it, and he made a split decision. He wasn't trying to be disrespectful to the University of Miami. He apologized. He also made sure to reach out to our staff once it all went public and talked it out with them to explain the situation. So, again, I refuse to tell people how to feel. I'm just saying from my perspective and the evidence given and presented, I think the young man is just fine. He got caught up in an official visit, and it's not like he was out here flossing and flaunting on us. Some other dude posted the picture of what went down. So again, some people are going to say I'm making excuses. Some people, I get it. I understand your opinion is respected. I don't have to like it, but I respect whoever and most people as human beings. And hey, feel how you want to feel. But this young brother, this Miami Hurricanes fan, this Miami boy understands that Wesley Basaint is a 17-year-old young man who went on an official visit, who got caught up and ended up getting caught on camera doing something he didn't know was going to be public.
If my son was fortunate enough to be in the position to be courted by all sorts of big-time football powers, I certainly would give him the advice and the direction to not disrespect anyone, to not say anything or do anything that could be used against him on social media and otherwise. That would be my advice. Now, what he would go and do may be a different matter. Right. Let's also understand that, as the wholesome one has stated, we're talking about 17 and 18-year-olds. They're thinking in the moment, or really they're not thinking, but even if they are doing a little bit of thinking, it's in the moment. They're not thinking about possible ramifications down the line. We have a player, you may actually remember this incident or know the name, who committed to Auburn. This was about 5 years ago, something in that range.
Foster.
That tattooed, got an Auburn tattoo, and eventually committed and signed with Alabama.
Yep, Reuben Foster, who's from Auburn.
It was Reuben
Alabama.
Foster. That's right.
Yeah, Reuben Foster is from Auburn, Alabama. He literally 2 or 3 nights before National Signing Day posted the Auburn photo on his arm, and to this day he still has it. It's funny. He said he still looks at it as a reminder of the decision he didn't make.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that.
So people have to understand also that your team, your program, your school, whether you're an alumni or just a fan, whatever your situation, you have emotional attachment. They don't. They're looking at 10, 15, 20 different schools, and every school is just now, hopefully they build that emotional attachment, but at that point, they're just looking for the best opportunity to go to school and play football. They're looking at it as it's a business deal. It's like if I go out looking for a job, I have no emotional attachment to any particular company. I just go out there and survey the field and see who's going to be the best fit and the best offer for me. So there's no emotional attachment for them. There is for you, the fan, but not for them. So are they making the wisest choices all the time? No. But sometimes they see it as just it's all in good fun, and I'm just going to go along with whatever they want me to do in that visit, and I'm just clowning around and having fun.
I mean,
So sometimes they are disrespecting. Sometimes they are consciously knowing, okay, I'm never going to commit to that school and I'm going to diss them. Sometimes that is the choice, but we don't know.
And the weird part for me is I don't really speak much about their fan base. I don't know much about their fan base besides their, delusional. But the weird part for me is I look at a school like Oklahoma. Like OU is one of the best football programs ever. Their universal sign is horns down. Like it's as old back as like 2006 when Gerald McCoy committed. The way he let it be known he's going to Oklahoma is throwing the horns down. Like you're telling me, like, you guys are one of the best football factories. And to show who and what you are, you slight your rival?
Exactly. It's not about you. It's not about your accomplishments. It's about your rival. You're making it about your rival. You should be making it. You should show them whether you see that as this is respect or disrespect. Regardless, you should not even consider that. They shouldn't even be a thought. It's not about them. It's about you. You picked up a great player. This is your time, your moment. This is about you. Not.
It's weird. It's weird. And I remember even back in 2015 when they were beating us on that streak, every time they got a sack, they would throw to you down. Okay, well, that's in a game. Okay, I understand. I still think it's corny and it just looks weird. But
well, this is the case. And I'm not picking on any particular fan base. This is for Ohio State fans. This is for Michigan fans. This is for across the board, that a lot of people on whether it's their Twitter account, their Twitter handle, or whether it's their Gmail, YouTube profile picture and all that, they make it in their handle. They make it more about their rival, like dissing their rival, than the team they support.
And it's usually the losing team, and I understand. I get it. When you're the one that's down and you're picking, you're scratching, but that's why I was saying about our fan base. They understood who we were and how we would respond on social media, right? So let's go ahead and throw this out there. Let's get them to start disrespecting Wesley. Let's get them to start adding them and down talking him. This young man is from our neighborhood. He's from Miami. He plays at Miami Central. Born and bred, our young man. That's one of our cousins, one of our sons, nephews. They were wanting you to respond in a negative way. And I just put out, I tweeted it just simply. When I quote tweeted, it's like, don't fall for this. They're doing this on purpose to get you to respond in a certain way so that they can hit them up later on and say, oh, yeah, remember I told you this is how they're going to act? Remember I told you this? We would never do you like that up here, because we have fans that are hopping to Twitter DMs and all type of crazy stuff and really attack the young man. And I'm glad for the most part our fan base didn't fall for it. But they tried. They tried. But there was enough of us who have a voice, whether it's on social media or on YouTube or Facebook, whatever, to be able to say, hey, nah, we're not falling for that. Not with a young man that we need, number one, on our rosters. Our linebackers are putrid. And then number two, he's born and bred Miami. We're not doing that to our own.
So, yeah. Right back, sure. So, yeah, those opposing coaches, they plant the seed, and then they get it out there on social media. The opposing rival fan base responds with hatred toward that particular recruit. So then that recruit has less motivation to commit or sign with the team he just dissed, the program he just dissed, because then their fans came after him. So again, it's a trolling mechanism and strategy for that particular program, team, coaching staff, that sometimes it works. But the Wholesome One obviously did his best to get people to see through that. Sigmund, thank you so much for the super chat. I remind everyone that you are contributing to this show You are giving us tremendous support, and you are ensuring that this show continues when you contribute to the Super Chat. So thank you so much for that. And also keep in mind that you can go through Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. And if you understand how YouTube works, you're bypassing YouTube. That's all I'll say here. You're bypassing YouTube. All I would ask is that if you want to contribute specifically to this show, for example, that you designate that. Put the wholesome one on there. All right. So Sigmund is he's commenting on the top 5 cornerback in the country, Jaheim Singletary out of Jacksonville. You know, you're talking about he's 13th rated in the country in the composite, regardless of position. Like, he's way up there. Committed to Ohio State. The crystal ball projections say Ohio State. Even the Ohio State guys that I have on all the time, they say, hey, even though Ohio State gets a ton of players out of Florida and they've done really well down there, the Ohio State coaches, according to the writers that I talked to, will tell you it's even if they get an early commit from a top Florida player, they know that they're going to have to fight for that commit all the way through. They can't just, got the commit, we're good. It's not like we just got a commit from Ohio, got a commit from Florida. We got schools down there that are going to stay after him, so we're going to have to fight it and all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big time. Hurricane Lasso, what's up, man? Good to see you. Mr. Rubicon in the house. Some good friends of mine showing up. Hey, y'all go ahead and hit that like button. We got about 10 to 12 more minutes left here, so y'all hit that like button. Let's get rolling in the algorithm even more. But yeah, you're right, Mark. At the end of the day, it's the same for us with Landon Ibieta, how we feel with him as a commitment as a wide receiver. You know, the day he commits to Miami, now he magically hears from Coach Ed Orgeron, who didn't even want to give him the time of day when he was at his camp 2 days before he committed to Miami, came down on his official visit. He couldn't even get a chance to talk to Coach Ed O. You know, so that, what does that say? Then you turn on the film. I did a film breakdown on the young man. He blew me away. I had been hearing from multiple people that I should check him out, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get to him. He commits, and I'm like, all right, I'll turn on the film, and it's just like, this dude's making plays left and right, and pulling away from people. Like, he's not, I would never call him a blazer, but he's pulling away from Louisiana talent. So, in a place that's born and bred defensive back area. So, we will see.
Chris Gahn's asking here. He says, outside of 2016, why does Miami not finish strong? Why have we collapsed at the end of the season? Is it a mental thing, conditioning, coaching, combination of all?
What a great, thank you, Chris. That's such a great viewpoint, because that stuff is true, Mark. You spend a lot of time, hours upon hours, that equal out to days and weeks of preparation. And a lot of time, halfway through the season, you see teams go like this, and you see other teams go like this. And there's a reason why. When you don't have a plan C, a plan D, a plan F to be able to keep reinventing yourself, not reinventing the wheel, because football is football. Okay, the number system and the gap system has been around for a century. Like, it's just how we play the game, right? But just like the only difference between, you know, the wing, the triple option wing T of the 90s and the triple option we run now is that it's either on a pistol or shotgun. That's the only other difference. It would not under center and have no receivers on the field. Okay, the game has stayed very similar. It's just called things different things and moved a couple pieces, but it's still this. Okay, a stretch run is still a stretch run, whether it's out of pistol, shotgun, under center, spread. You know, whether I got an elite offensive line or have an average offensive line, it depends on what the numbers, how we're going to call it, and how we're going to run this play. All right. I think the biggest issue with Miami is we, for the longest, have had such a so-so level of coaching that once we got past mid-season and their plays have already been known, their checks have already been known. Hey, if we give them this look, they're going to check to this screen pass. If we give him this look, he's going to check to a dive. If we show him this blitz, he's going to check to. A lot of that is already known. So when you have solid players or in so-so coaching staff, you make it to about week 5, week 6, and then you start seeing them trickle down. If you got big-time players with so-so coaching, they may make it to week 8, week 9, just based off of the talent. But you see the biggest difference between that elite level of coaching and the elite players is when they can get to week 11, 12, 13, 14, to the point where sometimes they're still implementing new plays every week that you ain't seen yet, that they know will work against this certain scheme or certain downs and distances throughout the game. I would say that's such, God, he hit it home with that, because 2016 was the last time we went on a win streak the latter half of the season. Won 4, lost 4, went on a 5-game winning streak. Even carried that momentum into the next season, winning 10 straight before we lost to Pittsburgh, and then it just derailed. But I also think there comes a sense of comfortability that happens too easy. As soon as things get a little successful, as soon as we start having a little bit of love shown our way, it seems like the Miami Hurricanes, we get too comfortable. And we kind of start to rest on our loins instead of continuing to build and build and build and get better and get better. Okay, if I come out, Mark, and I'm an 11 personnel, right? And 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. There's so many dozens of plays that we can call out of this. But what do I know for a fact is going to work against this particular defense? When I look over to the sideline, I'm the quarterback. Me and my OC identify the exact same defense. Are we going to call a simple dive, or are we going to call that play action tight end seam? Because we know that in cover 3, that safety loves to creep a little closer to the line of scrimmage than he should, because he wants to be able to shoot out to those flats instead of coming downhill. He likes to show blitz and then creep. So what we're going to do is we're going to detach that tight end so that he has to address him. Okay, then we're going to hit him with a little move, a little skinny, and come right over the top with a skinny out and then a seam, right over those linebackers, because it's against one high safety. And now we can trust Will Mallory one-on-one against a collegiate safety. Okay, those little things. And we saw a couple of those things with Coach Rhett Lashlee last year. I saw in the Pittsburgh game, he had 4 or 5 plays that he knew, if I called this against this defense, all we got to do is catch the ball and it's going to be a touchdown. And we needed him. We leaned on him. We got a couple of those big touchdowns. So I see it happening with Coach Rhett Lashlee, but towards the end of the season, it just really flamed out offensively for the Miami Hurricanes. With UNC and Oak State, it was some putrid offense being played. We out here calling trick plays to gain first downs. It was starting to get bad. But I really appreciate it. That's a great question. Thank you, Chris.
Wholesome one to back up your analysis and the question by Chris. This stat is courtesy the Voice of College Football Stat and Research Department. So I just came up with this one. I just looked at the last 4 games of the last 4 seasons. So that's 16 games, obviously, 2017 through 20, the last 4 games. After the team had gone 26-8 for the entire seasons leading up to the last 4 games, 26-8, last 4 games, 5-11. 5-11 out of a team that's winning over 75% of its games. Then it goes into the tank.
Yeah, Mark. That's
now you're playing better teams because you got a bowl game there, so you're always playing a really good team in the bowl game. It's been what you can blame Wisconsin for 2 of those games, North Carolina, Oklahoma State, but it's also been FIU, Duke, Louisiana Tech,
La Tech,
Virginia, Georgia Tech. Yeah. So the Pitt game, the Clemson game in 2017. Yep.
So, and obviously none of this stuff is easy. I would be blessed to have some of the same opportunities that these coaches have now, and hopefully sometime in the future I'm able to have those. But at the end of the day, you have the job for a reason, and let's really show that. Let's take it to a different level, because trust me, I'm with you. It's not easy. It sounds simple to we'll just call a different play to that. if we've been doing this for as long as you say you have, and your resume says that it has, you should be able to have a couple of plays off of an original formation that you can call, that you know offensively we're going to be able, if he just catches this football, or if the QB just puts it in this area, he's going to be wide open for a TD. Defensively, we should already know if we are able to get this blitz, and I know for a fact, if you do not move out of your stance as a corner and creep close to that line of scrimmage, and you, as a nickel, you're just right there on that receiver like it's man, and as soon as he moves, then you blitz off the edge, you're going to get home and get the sack. You got to be able to know some of that stuff, man. You got to be able to know some of that stuff.
Appreciate everybody being here for our revised time this week. So blame me for the new time. This is not permanent. We hope to be with you every Thursday, not this week. So this is taking place at the Thursday show, but every Thursday is our aim, and we hit it 90-some% of the time every Thursday at 5 with the Wholesome One, 5 Eastern time. But that's why you subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, and you know when we're going live. As I let Lewis know earlier when he said I didn't get a notification today, that's a YouTube thing that we can't control. But I get out there on the Miami channel. I let everybody know when we've got a live stream coming. I get out there on the main channel, and I let everyone know that we've got a live stream coming. I get on Twitter a couple times before the show hits and let everyone know we're going live. So appreciate you being here. And for everybody that missed, which is typical, that takes us a while to get rolling with the numbers. We're over a 120 here. That, of course, you got to go back and catch what you missed, because the Wholesome One led off with a big rundown from the Paradise Camp, of course, and answered some of your questions. So check out the rest of what you missed once the video posts.
Yeah, Mark, that'll be hashtag Rewatch Squad, baby.
That's it.
It's a lot of fun. Hey, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much, Mark, for being flexible with me. So I also was flexible with you, and we were able to get that content to East Miami Hurricanes fans. And I know you got a show right after me, so I'm not going to take too much more of your time. But it's a great opportunity to come here and represent the University of Miami and be able to speak on the institution that I love. And although I am critical, I definitely love that you, and I love our players and some of the coaches. But we just want to see it done right. That's it. And we may not have all the answers, but as of late, what we've been doing hasn't been working. So we might want to start making some changes and listening to multiple people, because maybe we'll start getting some changes at the University of Miami. But my confidence is in the head man of Coach Manny Diaz. Anybody who's willing to look within himself, look within his staff, and continue to upgrade and update that resume and update the coaching staff and this roster, means that he's somebody who's willing to work with anybody who can help this program. So I appreciate him. I appreciate you, Mark, for the opportunity. And thank you, each and every one of you all who are here, whether you're thumbs up or your thumbs down. It doesn't matter. I appreciate you. And hopefully I wasn't boring today, Mark. So much love to you all. And as always, go Canes, baby.
Wholesome, thank you so much. Appreciate that. You have a great rest of your week. For everybody else, college football fans, we got Ohio State at 2. That means right now we've got Oklahoma at 4. We've got Florida State. Yeah, I know, boo. Florida State at 6. Nebraska at 8. Join us for the College Football Talk. We will see you in a couple minutes.